Woody Wommack joined by Chad Simmons, Southeast recruiting analyst, here to talk the big news of the day. Chad, Amarius Mims, the number 2 player in the country, commits to Georgia. How big is this one for the Dawgs?
It's big, Woody. I mean, this was a battle, man. People thought at the beginning, it might be an Alabama-Georgia showdown. It turned into a Georgia-Tennessee showdown. Tennessee surged, strong over the last couple of months, had Mims in Knoxville 4 or 5 times, and family went there. But when he wasn't in Knoxville, he was back in Athens. So it became a battle between the Bulldogs and the Vols. And Kirby Smart beat Jeremy Pruitt to keep Mims at home, and it's big. I mean, Mims, obviously number 2 player in the country, 5-star for us on Rivals.com. He's an in-state target. He plays a premier position in offensive tackle. So a very big win for Kirby in Georgia.
So from the outside, I mean, I always thought he was going to Georgia, but how tight did it get? I mean, was there a point where Tennessee was in the lead, or, I mean, how tight do you think it got behind the scenes?
Yeah, I don't know if Tennessee ever led, Woody, or not, but it got very close. I mean, he definitely had people wondering, could he actually leave the state for a program like Tennessee? He grew up, a huge Alabama fan. He visited Tuscaloosa on his own over the summer early. And people thought once Pittman left and took the Arkansas job that maybe Bama was trending there. And I agree with that. But as they got those offensive line commits over the summer, things kind of turned more towards Tennessee and Georgia, kind of opened the door for Tennessee. Once he took that first trip to Knoxville over the summer, things became much more interesting because he kept going back. And I think that showed his interest level. I'm not sure, again, to answer your question, if they ever had the lead per se, but it got extremely tight and had people wondering if he actually could lead the state for Tennessee.
Georgia signed a couple of 5-stars last year, Broderick Jones and Tate Ratledge. We know they're kind of moving into the lineup or getting a little bit of action. What type of level is Mims compared to those guys, especially because he's ranked? I mean, number 2 is number 2. It's a lot different than number 27 or something like that.
Yeah, I think, he's comparable to a Broderick Jones. I think Tate for sure could be that right tackle, maybe even interior guy, depending on how Georgia moves their offensive line group around. I think Jones has left tackle written all over him long term because of the frame and athleticism he has. I think Mims is very similar to Broderick, maybe stronger. He weighs about, I'd say 30 to 40 pounds more than Broderick did a year ago. Now, Broderick played basketball, was a big basketball guy, so kept his weight down, especially in the off season. But I think they're very comparable there as far as flexibility, agility, the bend, the athleticism. So Mims he's a national guy. He was coveted by, even though Bama had 4 or 5 offensive line commits, Saban wanted Mims in this class. Tennessee wanted to build their class around a guy like Mims. So Kirby holding those guys off is a very big get. Like you said, number 2 player in the country. He's an elite talent at an elite position. So a very good get for Georgia.
You mentioned Sam Pittman. When he left for Arkansas, some people thought, okay, Georgia's run of getting these 5-star offensive linemen is over. You mentioned a big win for Kirby, but I mean, is this sort of a statement that Georgia's making that, look, we're not going anywhere just because Pittman's gone. We're still going to be trying to keep these guys, and we're going to win these battles for these in-state 5-stars.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, what Georgia's doing on the field between the lines under Kirby Smart is a statement in its own. I mean, yeah, they have lost to Alabama in the national championship game, SEC championship game, a big game this weekend against Bama and Tuscaloosa. But Kirby Smart's put them in that national championship picture. And these guys all feel like Georgia's extremely close and want to be a part of that first championship since 1980 in the Herschel Walker days. So, Matt Luke has come in, and I think the buzz around specifically Georgia, the state of Georgia, has been very positive about the kind of people skills Matt Luke has, how personable he is. Did a good job last year coming in late and keeping, Auburn away from a guy like Broderick Jones, or Tennessee from getting Tate Ratledge back from them. And Mims made it clear to me that Luke came in, and the second day he was on the road after spending a full day at Darlington and Rome, Georgia, with Tate Ratledge. He was at Bleckley County High School, making sure he was walking those hallways. Couldn't have that face-to-face time with Mims, but Mims made it clear to me that Luke came in from the second day on the job and made him a priority, and that stood out to him, long term.
All right, Chad, thanks a lot for joining us. Be sure to follow Chad on Twitter at @ChadSimmons_, and check out UGA Sports for more coverage of the Amarius Mims commitment.